Yo, what is going on, guys? You got Glop, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we'll be taking a look into the creative genius that is yours truly when it comes to making my thumbnails. I thought I would impart some wisdom upon the viewers here. So we're going to be breaking this down and looking at how it's done. Now, let's preface it with this. There's going to be a couple things you need in order to bring this beauty to life, all right? Firstly, all right, number one, you need a computer. Now, fortunately, majority of you have this, and if you've got MS Paint on it, great. You're set. You're ready to go, basically, all right? However, there is a second part. You do need to have, all right, a working hand. This was supposed to be a W, so clearly my hand doesn't work, all right? Let's just hand, all right? You need a hand. That's imperative to your success. And lastly, you really need a mouse, okay? Because you can't be a cheater, right? You can't be using your draw pad. You can't be using your fancy technology, any of that crap. No, this is just raw hand, mouse masterpieces, okay? So, there is a fourth thing that is ideal to have. Not necessary, but it's ideal. And that would be internet access and Google. I don't know how the hell you're watching this video if you don't have internet access. So thankfully, you should all have access to Google. And why we need Google is because Google is how we reference the thing we're trying to draw, whether it's the Pokemon, whatever's the focus of this thumbnail, all right? This can be applied to a wide variety of things, a myriad of options, you might even say. If you notice it sounds a little bit different, it's because I have to change the way my setup is to record this video. I don't like projecting my computer onto my TV when I'm drawing something. That just feels clunky. So I apologize if it sounds a little bit different or if there's some inconsistencies with the audio, but trust me, we'll make it through this together, all right? So, before we start the example, I want to quickly discuss the 4 kinds of Glop thumbnails, all right? Because there's different styles, different approaches. The first one, all right, is the try-hard style. And this style is characterized by, well, being very try-hard. I'll typically spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on these, and the end product is something that just really jumps out at the random viewer out there, the random person searching YouTube. They'll see the thumbnail and be like, wow, this is unique, this is interesting, I've never seen something like this, I want to click on this video. Some great examples of this would be Pokemon Clover episode 7, which I think is one of my best pieces, quite honestly, and also my Hitmonlee Showdown Live. Example 2, or Model 2, which is one of the ones I will be covering in this video today, is what I like to call the juxtaposition thumbnail. It's a fancy word. For those who don't know, it basically means 2 different things that are near each other, but they're like completely unrelated, or there's a very stark contrast between the 2 things. And the way I would describe this kind of thumbnail is you tried, but then you didn't. So like Pokemon Clover episode 10 and my YouTube banner are actually great examples of this. So you can see with Darkrai, I spent probably 2.5, 3 hours painstakingly drawing this almost like pixel by pixel in MS Paint. And then for my signature, I just said, whatever. I wanted it to look bad, right? So there's a very clear difference between the 2 styles, right? But it comes together to create one masterpiece. And I really think the banner encapsulates, the Glop channel. I just think it's perfect. It's irreplaceable in my eyes. Let's talk about model number 3. I will also be demonstrating this one live. This is called the I don't give a fuck model. And it's basically exactly what it sounds like. Where you sandbag on purpose, right? We're drawing it like we're restricting ourselves, right? You're drawing at a 3rd grade level. And you want to put in minimal effort. However, there is a catch, right? You got to put in at least enough effort to where somebody could possibly interpret it as, this guy like tried, but God, he sucks at art. Because that's the whole goal. That's the whole picture we're looking for with this. Great examples of this would be Pokemon Clover episode 4 and Glops at the Top episode 6. Quick tangent on that. If you're wondering what the hell happened to Glops at the Top, I know the Dynamax suspect already passed, but like the other 2 episodes I had pre-recorded kind of trash. Haven't really been motivated to do it, so may or may not continue. Who knows? The last kind of thumbnail, and this is probably the one that leaves me the least satisfied, which is weird, but that's just the only way I can really describe it. I would call this one the moderate effort thumbnail. And this is categorized by a unique look, right? Like you definitely tried, but you started to cut some corners. Examples of this would be Pokemon Clover Episode 9 and Durant makes tournament player salty. So, for example, with the Durant video, you can see, like, you know, I want to draw this Pokemon. Durant's cool, but Durant's really hard to draw. I'd rather just draw its head, right? Or with Episode 9 of Clover, Rectrum. I wanted to showcase him because he evolved in that episode, but I did not want to do shading for him. It was very meticulous, and also when I started drawing him, my scaling was kind of off, so, like, I couldn't fit him fully on the thumbnail, but I was like, screw it, I'm not going back, we're just going to keep it as is. So, with those out of the way, the last thing we need to establish is that there's some common trends with Glop thumbnails, alright? We've already touched on it a little bit, but Google is the reference for the Pokemon or whatever it is, whoever's going to be the star of the show on the thumbnail, alright? While I'm thinking about it, you'll probably notice down in the bottom here, we're using the 1280 by 720 specs for the image. That is the ideal YouTube thumbnail size, so that's why we're using it as our template. All right, the next thing that's common amongst all these thumbnails, all right, are bold letters, and usually red. And now you might be thinking, okay, but is it really that important? Well, let me show you this, all right? Let's say you just see the number 1. You'd be like, all right, well, whatever, Glop, I don't really care, but what if I was to enhance this, right? I was to make it bold, and suddenly I added the color red to it. You're gonna be like, hang on, whoa. Hey, red's a cool color. I'm into this, right? But let's say you're looking at thumbnails, just trying to find something good, right? And maybe you're just kind of doing it, automatically, and you're just small braining, right? Well, that's where the next step comes in, all right? We want to help get the brain thinking, all right? We want to get all that gray matter moving. So how do you do that? Well, you've got to have arrows. You'll notice a lot of my thumbnails have arrows. And why? Because what I'm doing is I'm helping you, the viewer, the interested party, understand what it is that you need to be paying attention to. The focus, the goal, all right, of this video. And when I make that red too, suddenly it just clicks. You're like, whoa, I can see it so clearly now. It's right there, the number 1, you know? The final common trend is that the background has to be one color, all right? Because we're lazy. We don't make fancy scenes, or we're not drawing a beautiful sky. We're not drawing, a very relaxing beach scene. No, it's just one color, man. That's all you need. And I think that complements perfectly the fact that we're trying to really zoom in and focus on, what's the focus? On a side note, if you're a deplorable piece of shit and you like to put circles in your thumbnails, don't do that, dude. You're just a tool. You're trying too hard at that point, in my opinion, all right? I might have done it once. Shame on me. If I do it again, shame on you for sticking around. But, yeah, don't do that. The lines are really cringe. Anyways, so, now that we've reviewed all of these things, let's actually look at the creative process live. So, shout out to a buddy of mine, Whooper. He wants me to do some kind of a showdown live with the Pokemon Whooper. Whooper, it's a cool Pokemon. Really terrible competitively. I mean, abysmal stats. I mean, really abysmal stats. Delibird is better. And Delibird's a piece of shit. So, on your screen now, you're going to see the Google image that I am referencing. I have it on my phone here next to me as I get prepared to draw this for you. So, the first style we're going to be doing as an example is the I don't give a fuck style. So, as we've discussed, you want to draw something that is a third grader style, right? And you obviously want to follow the image you're using as your reference, but you got to make some blunders, some mistakes along the way, So let's go ahead and start drawing this here. And I'm noticing the top of his head curves. What we're going to do is we're going to start it, and then we're kind of just going to make him flat. Someone just kind of pounded the top of his head. I don't know. He's got a dent, or he's dropped on his head, whatever. Right? We're coming back around, and we're getting to the little fin on the side of his head. So, Ideally, if you're drawing it, you want the fin connector, whatever the hell that thing is. You know, you want some straight lines. No, sir. We're here to sandbag. So, what I would do, you know, we got it connecting to the head, whatever, and make it like suddenly get wide for no reason. That's a little bit too wide. I don't like that. But like, it's got to look trash. So, we start this off here, and we go boom. And, you know, you just got to put aside all your fears, all your angst, right? You just got to draw. That's how you do it. By the way, this is my second time recording this video because the first time I did it, I forgot to have my cursor be captured. When you're doing these thumbnails, you want to use the size of line. Why? Because it's busted. I don't know. Anyways, so we'll continue here. And we'll make this one look like we kind of actually tried, you know. We're really trying to encapsulate the duality, right? So we've got that there. Again, because you got to keep in mind, with this model, it can't just be like all shit. I mean, yeah, it's got to look bad, but again, you want it to look like somebody could look at it and be like, I bet a 12-year-old drew that. He probably tried, but God, that is trash. So, moving right along. Oh, he doesn't have another side. Okay, well, you know what? For this one, oh, okay, hang on, buddy. I don't want your head to split apart. There we go. For this would be like, you know what? We're gonna kind of screw this one up too. Well, let's make this like more square. Why? I don't know. It's bad. All right. Perfect. Perfect. So, moving right along. Let's make sure we connect this because this will be important for when we're actually coloring in the image. Come on down here, and as you can see, you know, Whooper, he's got like a little bit of curve to the body. We're gonna ignore that completely. We're just gonna go like straight down on this side, almost straight down. And he's got his little curve at the bottom. And then, you know, on this side, we're actually gonna like pretend like we were trying. Give a little bit of a fat side there. You know, it's got a little bit of a beer belly. And then now we're actually gonna curve it like, you know, kind of like the image is intended. You know. And then he's got these little like. He's got a little like Wi-Fi signal on him. I don't really know what's going on with that. So we'll kind of do one of these, you know what I'm saying? We'll make this one like really bad, like almost like a trapezoid. Perfect. Facing the wrong way too. And then the last one. Dude, I'm drawing this and like, I'm not gonna lie, if I was to do this, you might think that this is a banana. You might not be convinced, but now you can't unsee it. But we're not here to draw bananas. We're here to draw Whoopers. So, now, the part, to me, as the artist, the part that has to be just the worst is the tail. The tail's got to be dog shit. So, you want to kind of just do something like this. Perfect. See, that's not anything at all what his tail looks like, but that's what we're going to do. Beautiful. I'm not even going to touch it. For the feet, we're going to make the first one look like we kind of tried here. That doesn't look like I tried. Like that. And then we're really just going to fumble the bag on this next one. Like, inexcusably so. Perfect. Looks more like a fin than anything. All right. Now, the part that's going to be like the most almost convincing, I guess, is the face. You can't really, like, you can't just make an eye like this because you could. It's a very bold approach. I don't know. I don't think I'm ready to incorporate that into my my daily workings here. But let's go ahead. Let's give her. Oh, let's give her a little eye. All right. And we'll get another eye over here. Yeah, give him a little bit of a lopsided eye. Perfect. And the mouth. I mean, it's really that easy. It's perfect, right? Now, this is going a little bit more try hard than I would like for, you know, one of my I don't give a fuck images, but he does need to have those eyes. So we'll make this one like pretty convincing, and then this one will just be like. It's so bad. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Dude, it looks like an anime eye. All right, I'm sorry. I'm clearly full of myself here. So, now, I would even argue this one might be a little bit too tryhard, but we're gonna, so we need to have the perfect little color for the side fin things, whatever they are. Beautiful. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna cover up this because we want only this portion to look like that color. We're gonna go ahead and just bop. And again, with this style, we don't care about shading. Shading, not relevant. We'll go ahead and fill out the little Wi-Fi signal here. Does this look good enough? Yeah, that's Whooper color. Perfect. And then we gotta, you know what, for the mouth, like we could do some shading. But again, I think that's a little bit too tryhard, you know? Just call it a day with this. Yeah, I mean, perfect. Fill in the eye. Dude, this is so, like, it's so much worse than my first time around. But, God, do I love this version more. All right. So, you can kind of start getting an idea of what our end product is, you know? So, as we've discussed, you got to have the arrows. So, we're going to go ahead and make an arrow. Kind of really screwed up here. I feel like that's too good. Yeah, that's way too good. That's too bad. You got to find that Goldilocks, you know what I'm saying? Perfect. And then we got to have our text. So, if I'm doing the, you know what? The arrow's a little bit too big. Let me adjust this here. Because, like, I want the text to be very large and noticeable. Again, we're trying to get people's attention. You know, they got to be able to, like, be looking at this on their phone and just be able to read it. So, with this here, with the I don't give a fuck version, you're probably going to just keep it short and sweet. So, like, bad. Alright, we're trying to convey that Whooper is a piece of shit and probably didn't do anything in this episode. Make sure you really fuck up the middle parts here. Make this one like oblong and then do like an actual perfect circle for the bottom half here. Be like, beautiful. Okay. So, again, we've discussed these have to be red. We're trying to get people's attention, you know? We got our arrow. Perfect. All right. Honestly, the last step for this one is just giving it the good old one color background. So I think I would make this a little bit darker. Maybe try to make it like more like look like the ground type. Yeah. You know? Because you could do dark blue with like water, but then I feel like the Whooper doesn't stand out as well. So then you would just fill this in. And there you go. I mean, it's a very minimalistic approach with this one, but I think it gets the message across. You could make bad a little bit bigger, definitely an option. But the Whooper, I mean, the Whooper is perfect. Like, look at this. Like, you can't change that at all. So, that's what we would have as our I don't give a fuck style. Let's look at how we could change it. Making minimal adjustments, we could instead make it into the juxtaposition style. So, let's go ahead and undo a couple of steps here. And I think that I really like how the Whooper looks. I would like to keep that exact image there. But again, we've got to show it like a very drastic difference. So I'm thinking kind of like what I did for Pokemon Clover episode 10, where, you know, the format, where it says Pokemon Clover, the number, those are all like pretty well formatted, but then the picture is just like trash. So I think the way I would approach this is by giving us a very like well-drawn arrow. Something like... something like that. And again, you would take this time to shave off like that little thing right there because you want this to look very good, right? Now, for the big brain, right? For this style, you can't just have bad, right? You need to have a better way to convey that. So I might even choose the word, I don't know, terrible. I like that. We'll rock out with that. So, up in the top here, of course, you gotta have the bold letters. And I just had a big brain realization because when I first recorded this video, I realized that you can just copy and paste some of your letters that you draw, and it makes the whole end product a lot easier. I'll show you what I mean by that. Go in here, make our E. And again, you want this to look like as good as you can manage with a mouse and in Microsoft Paint. Like, I don't even accept that. That's not acceptable. What the hell was that? No. The viewers, the people, they deserve better than that. That's pushing it, but for the sake of brevity, I'll continue on. So R. Dude, R is one of the hardest letters, I feel, to like draw in the 3D style or like the bold style. I always mess it up. God, that looks so bad. Oh, man. Oh, I can't accept it. That's just too bad. That's going to have to do, honestly. So, what you can do, a little cheat code here, you're going to want to go ahead and select a rectangular portion. You're going to outline the letter you just drew, because we're trying to save time out here. You're going to copy, you're going to paste. And suddenly, you've now drawn 2 R's for the price of 1. So moving right along. We got our I in here. And I'm thinking that with the juxtaposition, you really gotta like contrast the good and bad. So one of the ways we can draw even more emphasis on the bad side of it is we can add something down here, because we've got a lot of room. You know, there's a big template we're working with. So for example, I'm thinking maybe we add like a trash can, really get the point across that like this thing sucks. Again, I'm not hating on Wooper. Wooper is a cool Pokemon. It's just very bad. So we'll finish this part up here, and then as I demonstrated earlier, we can actually just cheat for the last part. So we'll go ahead and select the E from earlier. Ooh, we're cutting it narrow with that one, but it should work. Copy and paste. Bam. E. All right, so we've got this taken care of. Let's go ahead and draw a trash can. And again, we're going back to our old primitive style here where we don't really care. So I'm thinking like a little handle on it, you know what I'm saying? You got the lines, you know. Go ahead and get this colored in. Voila, we've got our trash can. That's almost good. I'll let it pass though. And then of course we got to make our letters bold and red. You know how to do it. You're trying to get the people's attention, right? You might even add like other like words or like, you know, catchphrases like wow, or you know what I might do is like maybe down here I'll put like something like this, you know what I'm saying? Oops. Let's go ahead and fix that. And again, we have the technology. So we'll just go ahead and select this again, because we're lazy. Boom. Copy paste. It's that easy, folks. That easy. All right. So we'll fill this part in too, because we're really trying to emphasize the point here, right? This guy's ass. And then, you know, there have been times where I've contemplated the idea of maybe, you know, make some nice sand, you know, a nice beach. No, one color, because we're really out here. All right. Bop, bop, bop. Fill in this little blank here, and suddenly, you now have your juxtaposition model. Right? This looks very nice. The lettering, very bold, very clear. We've got the arrow clearly pointing to an absolute monstrosity that is ass. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Taking a little bit of an inside peek into the creative genius of the channel. If you would like to see me do in real time the try-hard and moderate effort thumbnails, I'd be glad to do that. You know, just let me know down in the comments if you want to see it. But otherwise, that's going to wrap it up for this video. So I'll see you guys in the next whatever. Peace.